We let slip 2 league titles in a row with Spartak Subotica in Serbia. This made a huge hit to our morale, to the point I was wondering if I should pack my bags and go elsewhere. After looking at available jobs, I have decided to stay. Despite massive temptations such as Besiktas and Club Brugge or Villarreal's offer, they sent by themselves for just one more season. But still, we have to go on a redemption arc. We have to make sure the Serbian league title goes outside of Belgrade for the first time ever. And so, my first course of action was to release the older players, so I can make a massive 14 million budget even larger. I used $500,000 to sign Luka Pavlovic from Crvena Zvezda, and then went on to splash 8 million euros on a new striker, Nikola Stankovic from Berchot in Belgium. A promising inside forward Tomasz Sabol also joined from Sparta Prague for 1.6 million. Our squad stayed largely the same, and it was a decent decision. Okay, we will not get a go at being invincible again. Partizan won 1-0 at our place, but this still didn't prevent us from starting the season on top of the standings, level on points with Czukariczki. During this summer, I also applied for the Polish national team job, which was freed by Bartosz Grzelak after the Poles got knocked out in the round of 32 of the 2042 World Cup, won by Spain in extra time, despite Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. scoring for Portugal. Unfortunately, Poland said no to the country's greatest manager of all time. But coming back to our club, we are also getting another chance in the Conference League, and we started with 2 4-2 wins against Torpedo Wojtinho from Belarus. We then faced Brøndby, who we won against at home 3-1. We scored 2 goals very quickly, and Nikola Tintor in stoppage time secured our win. However, in Denmark, Brøndby wanted to fight back and scored 3 goals. Thankfully, one of them was an own goal. Therefore, we advanced without a lot of stress. So, we're in the 4th round, and we played Hradec Králové from Czechia. The first game was a comfortable 3-0 win, but in Czechia, despite Nikola Stankovic opening up the scoring, we conceded a dubious penalty, which ultimately finished the game with a draw. That didn't matter though. We made it to the Conference League stage again, and our fixture list seems to give us a huge chance of qualifying to the round of 16, and to meet our former team, Budućnost Podgorica, from which I only recognize 2 players. But our first opposition was Legia Warsaw from Poland, who had a terrible start in the league. One detail that I forgot to tell you is that the Polish league became one of the better ones in this save. Sure, it's not a new top 5 league, but they had their representation in the Conference League quarter, semi, and even a final in recent years. You guessed it, I'm making excuses for the fact they scored 2 in the first half. We tried to regain hope in the 82nd, but Łukasz Wejwar from Legia closed the game off in the 86th, meaning we started the league stage with a loss. Not a good start. And the news was only getting worse ahead of the fixture against Viking. Yes, 6 of our key players were injured at the time, so we had to put our usual Metzala, Martin Radic, up front. Thankfully, he stood up to the challenge and scored a hat-trick to win the game for us. Meanwhile in the league, despite that injury crisis, things were looking great. We just kept winning without fail, and 13 matches into the season, we were already 8 points ahead of Czukariczki and 13 ahead of Crvena Zvezda, who were in a massive crisis, following some Champions League defeats. And of course we had to reduce the gap to 10, bottling a win against them for like the 60th time? Thankfully, all other games were wins, which helped us lead the league by 12 points at the winter break. This includes a 6-2 demolition of Partizan Belgrade, in which Jasur Rahimov, our playmaker, scored 5. Meanwhile in Europe, we guaranteed ourselves the knockout rounds with dominant wins over Pogoń Szczecin, our former team Budućnost Podgorica, Ayr United from Scotland, and I wanted to sell Liepaja, but we stupidly lost 3-2. Overall, this was enough to just qualify directly to the round of 16, where we will play Celje, the dominant force in Slovenia. However, we will have to cope without Yasin Batesti, whose 3.1 million release clause was activated by Bologna. Eddie Roberts went to Almeria in Spain for just 100k. Alexander Petrov went to China for $1 million, and I chose his replacement to be Pero Milosavljevic from Czukariczki Stankom for $1.5 million. Petr Poštulka joined from Slovan Liberec for 600k on a right back, and then I broke the bank. 7 million on Adrian Klenowszek from Šibenik in Croatia. I know this is like twice as much as I should spend, but we have to use the money if we want to have success both in Serbia and Europe. I think we have one of the strongest teams Serbia has seen in recent years, and it showed. with 6 league wins in 7 games. We kept our 12-point lead before the most important games of the season, the 2 title deciders against Čukarički and Crvena Zvezda. The latter one will play the eternal derby a day after our tie with Čukarički. But first, Europe. Celje seemed to be one of the easier opponents we could get, and it showed 2 minutes in. Tomasz Sabol scored a header from close range. Celje seemed to be no match, aside from their single weapon up front, Nabil Abidi, who didn't even get a chance in the Netherlands. He's in his prime, so he's got something to prove, and 33 minutes in, he equalized. We thought this was a singular incident, with Nikola Stankovic returning the situation back to normal. I tried slowing the game down, but Celje wanted to use it to their advantage, and so they did. Not only Nicky Offord, on loan from Brighton, scored in the 82nd, but Nabil Abidi helped Celje go to Serbia with a win in hand. He also scored in the very first minute of the return leg, and now we looked like we're getting knocked out. We did not hear any bell. Jasur Rahimov wins a penalty, and Nikola Kostic converts it. 6 minutes later, Jasur Rahimov gets past the defender and scores a driven shot. Unfortunately, the Offord-Abidi duo still does wonders and Celje retake the lead. However, this is still the Conference League football, the absolute peak of the sport. Radosavljevic cuts inside and scores into the top corner. Stankovic is caught offside in the 84th minute, but in the 87th, he completes this absolute cinema of a comeback. He got caught offside again in the stoppage time, and fine margins could still make us lose. Ricky Offord was in a 1v1 with Mastro Giovanni, but the Argentine goalie saved, and that means we completed a comeback. In the quarter-final, we will play the Romanian champions, CFR Cluj. But we'll take a look at our Conference League run after we take care of the league. Čukarički is the team closest to us, so winning against them would do us a huge favor. Passes again to Koch, Vela, to Enric, but we have a highlight at the end of the first half. Radosavljevic with a decent shot from the free kick. Makes a long pass to Radosavljevic, brilliant one I must admit. Pass back to Stankovic, hits the post, rebound. 1-0, we're taking the lead. And this rounds up the first of 4 title deciders we have. What's more, we already guaranteed ourselves the Conference League football with this win. But it's not our final goal. We still have to win over Crvena Zvezda to enter a highway to the title. I think we should advance forward at this point. Rahimov, and we instantly lose possession. We should have kept it, Vago, Punsi, and Punsi is hitting the crossbar. Simic finds Rovira. I think he was offside though. And he was. Back to Radosavljevic. Rahimov has the empty net. He's done it. 1-0. We're going to equalize it very quickly. No, we clear it. Simic has been fouled. But the ref does nothing about it. Dribbles with the ball. Now makes a turn to Emilov. Emilov hits the crossbar. To an empty net it goes. No chance he's shooting from here. Szczutowski makes a turn. After a deflection, it's an own goal. We're breaking our curses. It was the wasted opportunities against Crvena Zvezda that already cost us the title twice. We lost the derby against Vojvodina, first because it was 2 days after the Crvena win, and second because it was 3 days before the Conference League quarter-final against CFR Cluj. We got knocked out in the European quarter-finals quite often in this save, and that was the perfect chance to break yet another curse. Also, why is my head of youth development always banging the table in the press conferences? Has a chance from a throw-in. Tintor passes back to Sabol. Klenovšek. Brilliant sequence of passes. Stankovic gets to the ball. I think. No, he's not offside. Looks like this first goal really irritated them quite a bit. And they don't score somehow. Mchunut and Audrey Gerbel wants to check it on the VAR. It's a pen. It's a pen for Cluj. Balfi takes it, but Mastro Giovanni saves it. This is huge in terms of this game. Terrible pass. Well, we win at least. Pavlovic, good cross to Rahimov. Into the far post from this header. Stankovic gets to that ball. Radosavljevic, brilliant half volley. Pondo. Cuts the area, Lucia, easy tapping. Back to Tintor, brilliant strike to the far post. Tintor in the middle of the area. I wanted Simic to overlap somewhere there, but Szutowski takes control of the ball. Now passes to Simic. A bit too late, I think. Stankovic gets to the header, and I think it was offside anyway. Huge players are complaining. But they're wrong! Simic to Pavlovic. Pavlovic makes a cross to Emilov. And Emilov scores the fifth. Petsy schools Simic absolutely. Mchunu had to score it. We'll be the only team from Serbia in the Conference League semi-final, and we'll be taking on Olympiacos. At this point I'm wondering, could we go not only for the league title, not only the cup, but go for all three trophies in a single season? That would be a massive payback for the two wasted chances to win the title. But turns out, no. We lost to Napreda Kruševac in the cup semi-final, but we still have a league title to win. So let's do it. We can guarantee it within 3 games against all of our 3 biggest rivals. We're starting this deciding pretty much game. Firstly Czukaricki with our throw-in. Tomasz Sabol hits the post and we win possession again. Martin Radic. Sabol. Radic finds some space. 1-0 against Czukaricki. To pass it to the far post, Radosavljevic gets to that ball and scores for a second. We are truly no longer bottling it. We might even go for the third. Who steps up? It's going to be Radosavljevic for the brace. Hits the post! On the left. Milenkovic wins it. Radosavljevic must be thankful that despite the fact he missed the pad, we still won 2-0. Antic, Klenowszek, Emilov. Radic finds Stankovic, powerful strike! Into the left corner of the net. 1-0. I see Tintor is giving across to Szutowski. I would almost miss out on that goal. We're 15 points ahead of Czukaricki. A single point wins us the title. There is no way we're bottling this now. Sabol passes to Poszulka. Pavlovic makes a pass to Stankovic, who scores. As of now, we're the champions. We're absolutely thrashing Partizan. Pavlovic hits the post from the free kick. He is going to make a cross to Sehic, and we somehow save it. The ball hits the post. He passes it to Milosavljevic on the wing. Pero now gets past the opponents. Radosavljevic doubles the lead, secures our win, secures our title. Radosavljevic makes it a brace as well. Turns out, with 88 points already with 4 games to go, we finally won the Serbian league. For the first time ever, a team from outside the capital city has actually done it. This took way too long. We should have already claimed the title in the first full season, but we wasted our potential win against Crvena Zvezda. We then had 15-point lead with 12 games to go, but still lost it, despite 86 points to our name at the end. And now turns out, the third time was the charm. We've not only won the first ever title outside of Belgrade, but also finished as Centurions with exactly 100 points in the bag. So now it's time to resign and look for... Hold on. There is a Conference League semi-final against Olympiacos. It's the first time a Serbian team has gone this far in Europe since 1992, when Crvena Zvezda went to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Could we also make history in Europe? Klenowszek. Rahimov finds Pavlovic. Gets that ball first. But now he loses it. Stankovic makes a turn. Left-footed shot. We're taking the lead against Olympiacos. On the wing, he finds Stankovic over the crossbar. Chavez makes a free kick. Wow! But we have a highlight straight from the kickoff, and this makes us lose possession, but Klenowszek instantly wins it back. Stankovic 1v1 against the keeper, and he finds the net for the second time today. Olympiacos on the counter, and this looks dangerous. Smith makes a turn to Niemand, and we're walking into half-time with a 2-2 draw. Rovira back to Simic, back to Pavlovic. We got past 3 Olympiacos defenders. Yeah, Yasur Rahimov puts it in the empty net. Olympiacos is Niemand. We'll have plenty of space to pass it to Stoikos. What happened here? Hugo Seko scores. But we have a highlight shared from the kickoff, so just wait, lads. Just wait and see what happens. Szczutowski, Rahimov. Back to Antic, can make a cross, but passes to Szczutowski. Rahimov takes control of it. Antic again in the penalty area. Walks into it. And it's Stankovic for the hat-trick in the 92nd minute. It's 4-3. Take control of the ball. Rovira, now on the right side, can cut inside. Instead, he passes it to Stankovic. That was at least his intention. Pavlovic. Way over delivered. Stankovic to Radosavljevic. Curling effort. Radosavljevic puts it in the far post. Still chaos in the middle. Looks like Olympiacos will be chasing that goal. Well, they might chase a penalty. Mastro Giovanni already made a save in the quarter-final against CFR Cluj. Can't he do the same here? No, although it was the same corner. I was certain about the knockouts as soon as we reached that league stage, but I didn't expect us going all the way to the Conference League final. What a story it already is. This single-handedly may be our best season in this save so far. In the final, we will meet up with Victor Gonzalez and his team, Olympique de Marseille. We're only 90 minutes away from European glory. I even told the press, we really stand the chance. Last season, we scored a goal in every match against Stade de Reims, both in the league stage and in the quarterfinals, even if we lost all 3 games. So I believe we can cause an upset, and they have. I decided to use the strongest squad we could deploy for the final. I hope we're going to make a lot of trouble for Olympique. Pavlovic finds Rovira on the wing. Stankovic gets to a 1v1. He's already scored. We're taking the lead over Olympique de Marseille. Looks like we have a heavy advantage here. Rovira. That's 2-0. That's 2-0 over Marseille. Finds Radosavljevic. Klenowszek to Pavlovic. Makes a pass to Stankovic. 1v1 again. 3-0. What's going on? Klenowszek finds Rovira again, and this is not a penalty. 100%. It's a penalty! For what? And we can go to the dressing room with a 4-0. I mean, at this point we have to win. If it was 1-0, I wouldn't expect that, but despite that goal, we have to win. Posztulka finds Rovira on the right wing. And it's a tap-in for Nikola Stankovic. This was unexpected, and that's to say the least. Not only did we win the Conference League, we absolutely demolished our opponents. And that is the end of the chapter in Subotica. We won the 8th league in the Ultimate Glory Hunter Challenge, so staying in Serbia is pointless now, unless we wanted to go for the Champions League with Spartak. So, the very next day after achieving European glory, I resigned from the Spartak post. What will be the 9th league in our journey? The most interesting offer right after the season ended was from Maribor in Slovenia, to which I applied. But will I end up there? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be very grateful for that. But why did we do 2 episodes in Serbia? Find out in the video that is on your screen right now.